Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Kusanagi here. I'm going to talk about Flash Step Robin, which is my personal build. Braxphone talked about it a little bit in terms of 4-piece Hackerspace Messenger being a third best option. In my view, I think that this is actually the best option, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think it's the best option. So let's go on this journey of what exactly the hell I'm talking about when I say Flash Tap Robin. When we're talking about Flash Tap Robin, we are talking about a very fast Robin. And when I say very fast, we're not talking like 180 speed. Braxophone said there's a 0 cycle Robin that exists at a 180 speed. But realistically, a Robin that is above 140 speed is just as viable depending on what your other damage dealing characters' current speed tunings are. Generally, what you want to happen is you want Robin to go first, so her immediate E skill increases the damage of your DPS, which would be in the second most position of the attack turn, followed by your sub DPS or your dual DPS. And this is something that's a little bit new, that people are now finally coming around to the idea that you can run dual DPSs. I've been running dual DPSs for a while. I even showcased this on TikTok when I was a big TikTok creator. I'm still a TikTok creator, using Jingyuan and Zila. Jingyuan being my sub or double DPS to clean up the enemies on screen that effectively Zila maybe didn't fully one-shot because she failed to crit them. These discussions around dual DPS theory crafters are finally coming around to this position that dual DPS is the new meta. That being said, let's talk about Robin. So why does speed matter on Robin? Speed itself only matters in the state of if Robin is going to be the first in turn and will increase the damage of your other characters. So if you're running just like the standard attack sets that are suggested by these content creators, then yeah, speed really doesn't matter because you're just going to go with a double attack set. You're going to increase the damage boost by 24%. And hey, now your Acheron, instead of hitting for 100,000, let's say she hits for 124,000, right? That is not the entirety of the story. And something that they're completely missing is the fact that the 4-piece Messenger on a character like Robin will provide a 12% speed boost. So let's look at this in action. I'm going to auto this. We'll pause it at certain points just to get an idea. So I'm going to pause it now because Robin has not done her attack yet. So let's take a look at the speed stats of my characters, right? So Acheron's at 141, Robin herself is at 145, Clara will be 104, Luocha at 139. If we look at the turn order, Acheron is right at the speed breakpoint. She will likely get another turn here before, or she'll get another action on this turn before the turn changes to turn 3. So Acheron is last in turn, Robin gets another turn, but if you remember, Robin already went first. So I already hit the speed breakpoint where Robin is going twice this turn, which is extremely valuable, and it means that Robin, with this much energy, is about to get her ultimate. And because Robin's about to get her ultimate, that now means that somebody like Luocha or Clara, maybe, depending on the enemies, will get an extra action per turn. So I'm going to go back to auto. Acheron's going to more or less wipe the floor of these guys. Robin is going to go. We're going to pause real quick. Luocha just got an extra action. So, if you remember, the last one in our sequence was Acheron. So now Luocha got an extra action this turn. We look at the effective stats. 153, or 154, 157. Clara's now at 115. Luocha 139. So they all have gotten a boost, which means that they are more likely at this point on this single turn to be able to get an additional action per turn. Now, this only is a one-time thing because the way that Hackerspace works, it's only on the one turn per ult, but that's for basically turn 4 in the Pure Fiction stage and MOC. This would be whatever point you're at. And now we're getting all the normal buffs that we would have got off Robin, which is attack damage increase, follow-up increase by 20%, etc., etc. So why do I think that this is the more important skill to use? Well, this is a full team boost. Now, if you were to go with a double attack, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the extra skill points that Luocha is going to provide here. So Luocha now just gave me an extra skill point. Oh, look at that. He managed to also get an ult. So now Luocha just gave me an ult damage. If I needed the healing, which in this case I do not, Luocha's passive skill is now active, and Luocha is now healing the rest of the team. If I didn't have that extra action on that point, Luocha or the team would be losing damage. So we've gained damage, we've gained healing, we've also activated a debuff removal in the form of Luocha being able to strip the debuffs off of the enemies. So maybe this is very situational, but in my view, and for my account, this is extremely valuable. Being able to have Robin, 1, go first, but 2, have Robin provide the rest of the team with an additional buff, which is the speed buff. It is the same, it is close enough to the same thing that she gets in her Eidolon 2. So if you are a free-to-play and you're an E0 Robin haver and you're trying to figure out, do I actually spend money to try to get Robin to E2, you can get close to simulating that just by simply putting a 4-piece hacker face on her. Now, we've already made more than enough points at this point, because the other team will obviously clear the other side. We're at 24,000, 25,000 and counting. We still got Clara in a counter here, and I think that's going to be about it. We won't do the full thing here. Robin's going to finalize. So we ended up at 27,000 on this run. Doesn't really matter. I've already cleared this, and so that's definitely more than enough for the other team to clear this. I've already cleared this at 60,000 points. Not that big of a deal. We are going to quit out, but let's talk about Robin's kit and let's talk about the equipment that I have on her. So, the equipment, like I said, I'm running the 4-piece Hackerspace. I'm still running the Penacony set. Why do I think this is good? In particular, it's a 12% speed boost for 1 turn. If you look at Robin's Eidolon, the E2 is a 16%, but it's during the duration of the ultimate. So if you wanted it to be for the full duration of the ultimate, the only way to really do this is to do the afternoon tea for 2 Eidolon at E2. But if you really are on a budget because you're waiting for Firefly and you are also looking forward to Jade, you could just go for E1 and then run a 4-piece Hackerspace and simulate this at least for 1 turn. The benefit to this is that she is now effectively the same as Run Mei, which Run Mei grants a 25%, so you're only really losing 1%. But the best thing is now you have Run Mei to run on the other team. So you could run Robin on one team, get a res pen for 24%, and then you can run Run Mei on the other team and still have the 25% for the other team, which is absolutely goated. The other thing here is that Robin provides buffs to follow-up attacks, which is pretty legit, right? So if you're going to pull for Jade, you already have Topaz or Ratio, or you are using Clara. There is a benefit now to running Robin with any of those follow-up characters to get a 20% buff. The other thing is The Penacony set really only works with Argenti and Clara as your main 5-star characters that would get a buff out of this because they have to be the same type, which is physical. Luca will get a 10% buff, but obviously you're gonna want a 5-star follow-up character, so you're gonna get the physical increase, and you're also gonna get the 20% follow-up increase off of Robin. So there's definitely still running this because in my case, there's a lot of situations where I would prefer to run Clara instead of another unit, and I don't have Argenti, so I'm not using him. Lastly, in terms of how good is she a support and like the light cone I'm running Bronya's signature light cone. I did not go for Robin's signature light cone. I will likely go for E1 or E2, but I'm probably not going to go for signature light cone. I just don't see the point. And really, the Eidolons give the res pen that Ruan Mei has, and Ruan Mei is the light cone, and the only reason I went for it for Ruan Mei was just the amount of break it provided. Made it much easier to get the proper relics. Or get like mid relics that would give you enough break effect that Ruan Mei was viable. So you didn't have to farm so hard to get a lot of break effect with high roll relics. So these are my stats for Robin. She's a 145 speed, 39,000 HP, 3,900 HP, 3,200 attack, 1,300 defense. These are a guide. I don't think that you have to match my stats perfectly, but as long as you have enough speed and Robin is going first in turn, I think that's the most important thing. And I would argue that the hacker space probably provides the most benefit over anything else because additional 24%, like if you stack the two different attacker sets. So for example, if we put the Wild Wheat for 12%, and we stack the Deep Confinement for 12%, we're actually only talking about a 24% increase in attack stat, but the benefit of anything else, like the 4-piece, is completely missing. So Robin's ultimate will not give additional speed to the teammates. The only thing she's going to do is increase their ability to do more attack, which can be fine if you already have a pretty strong hyper carry, but in my way of theory crafting and building teams, my preference is to actually make the entire team better, not just a single unit, because the ability for more than one unit to be able to break a boss or do additional damage and ensure that an enemy is defeated is much more effective than relying on a hyper carry that may not crit or has some kind of RNG factor with how much damage they're going to do. So those are my suggestions. Let me know in the comments if you actually pulled for Robin, if you built your Robin, and the type of build that you're going to end up doing. Thank you, and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.